how do you shift from a scarcity mindset into abundance when the news and the economists are all doom and gloom? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today on the Manifesting Guide. But just before we do that, if you're done with pushing and forcing yourself to get things done without results, come find your Manifest Without Force or Frustration gift at highertrueself.com. It's completely free. This is Aryana Rollins, and let's dive into episode 43, 4-step process that moves you from scarcity to abundance. If you're like me and you listen deeply and you really want to understand where people are coming from, you might find yourself, your energy dropping, or previously you were in an optimistic, buoyant mood, and then all of a sudden you're in worry. Now, you may not have named that mindset scarcity, but it's quite likely if your friend or a family member or you watched a movie where someone was homeless, that mindset, it's kind of like, I've heard one person call it a plane of mind. So a plane of mind would be the people who sadly are homeless, or a plane of mind would be the people who are extremely wealthy and rich beyond what we would consider belief, right? So there's a plane of mind, and when we drop out of that, our normal plane of mind, we register a shift. And that's what I'm speaking about when we talk about moving from scarcity to abundance. So here's a 4-step process, but let me discuss it a little bit before we get into it. So conditioned patterns, which are ways of thinking, feeling, behaviors, attitudes, can keep us stuck in unproductive modes. So today I want to share this quick 4-step process that can move you when you're recognizing it, that all of a sudden you've shifted and now you're in worry mode. It can move you from scarcity into abundance. First off, you must realize that living under a paradigm that good things don't come your way can create a set of expectations. This is one of the biggest things that most people have to overcome when they want to be more deliberate at manifesting their outcomes. Because when you have that view, good things don't come your way, whether it is conscious for you or not, your unconscious is listening to everything that you're thinking, everything that you're saying, and it responds to those expectations. And it will make manifest in its infinite power to create that, of course, good things don't come my way. We don't want that, so let's shift it. And here's another awareness. Just pay attention. Every time something significant happens in your life, maybe there has been an increase in income, or all of a sudden you've got your online dating profile and women are responding to it. You're like, whoa, this has been years where anybody has responded to me and my profile. And you're like, oh, and then there's a feeling of, uh-oh, what's going to happen? They're going to meet me. They're not going to like me. Or always, no matter when income increases, it just goes rapidly out the door as soon as it comes in. So that is, your mindset is waiting for the other shoe to drop. Assumption here is scarcity. So how do you embrace the abundance that is coming your way, especially if you're on a manifesting path? You know the importance of this, keeping yourself above negativity and tapping into that manifesting mindset. So how do you embrace the abundance that you have already pre-planted and it's on your path? Well, you can start to observe patterns in people who attract abundance and adopt them as shortcuts. Or that you're aware when a friend or a family member, or you're watching a movie and it's really getting to be a heavy conversation. Now, I'm not saying just hang up the phone or just walk out of the room, but you can turn the movie off, right? That's one you can do. Or if you're in a movie theater, you can walk out. But what do you do if someone you care about is in that state of mind? Well, you can start to shift the conversation. While giving them love and compassion where they are, it's like, gosh, that must be hard. Hey, there was something I want to talk to you about. And then the person will likely shift into that positive energy and bring something in. Now, one of the things I love to do is always be learning something. have a book I'm reading or a program I'm taking. And maybe just it could be my self-awareness when I'm doing my practice process or my journaling in the morning. I can share that and open up discussion. So let's talk about step number 1. 99% of abundance is elevating our awareness. Now, we can be stalemated if we don't know what would make us happy, because we can't choose, even when that thing that would bring us happiness is right in front of us. So I ask you now, what do you want? Not just kind of want, but deeply desire at a gut or core level. Now, this is a great start to tap into that, and it can start to give your wishes wings, okay? Now, one of the things that's really essential if you want to be a more deliberate manifester is to make sure that what you want aligns with who you are, your values, where you are in your life, and your internal drive. For example, some people are on a spiritual path, and the idea of making money is really desirable, but they can't imagine going in to work at a corporation, even if they have training. Maybe they're an accountant or a lawyer, and something shifted where they can't do that anymore. They can't go backwards. So understanding your values and really making sure your wishes and desires are aligned is so helpful. It's essential. And if you would like a little exercise, something that I created for myself, because I could never be successful at this notion of values. I've worked with coaches and I just couldn't comprehend what they mean. Like, what are your values? Even if they give me a list. But in this exercise, in the Manifesting Guide, which you can find it at themanifestingguide.com, there's a whole chapter on that will guide you to get your unconscious aligned with what you want by identifying your values at the unconscious level. Okay, step 2 here, take personal responsibility. Now, this is not talking about taking personal ownership and responsibility in a way that's not yours, maybe for the state of the world or for somebody else. No, but it does mean if you don't take personal responsibility and ownership for your choices and what's happening in your life, it can make you impotent. Not impotent in the way you may think, but manifestingly so, impotent. Because realize it's an old pattern from your past that say, well, wait a minute, things can be different. I have experienced new growth and possibility just the other day. So you could state something like this. Now, I'm not a real firm, strong believer in affirmations on their own, but they can start to soften the edges of a blocker pattern, a habit, a thought, a way of being, an emotion that can take you over. And that's really what we're talking about from scarcity to abundance here. So this is something you might consider saying when you catch yourself in that old pattern. That's valuable in itself. Okay, today I choose to commit to taking responsibility for generating abundance in all areas of my life. Here's another thing that people don't realize when they're frustrated with life, or they've just had an argument with their partner or a colleague, and they feel it's unjust, whatever has happened, and they've taken a position. But here's the thing, that when we blame others, we are literally handing over our manifesting power. Because what we're saying is that the solution to solve this problem has to come through that person. And that disempowers us. We now have no place to go other than to that person, try to convince them that we are right and convince them to take responsibility for their actions. Blaming keeps us in a waiting state. And obviously, if we're waiting and we're not taking action, it can increase scarcity, right? So consider this. If the universe can literally send you what it is you want, could the universe also be interested and concerned to not send you new things because you could harm the giver? So if you're blaming someone for an experience, well, it may be feeling unjust to you. Is there growth there for you? Is it something that you can now look at and possibly approach in a new way and step into a bigger expression of yourself, or communicate more clearly what it is that you need and want? Everything that happens gives us an invitation to respond differently, wouldn't you think? So step 3, this is where it takes a little more self-awareness, but I think it's a fabulous one to start with. Where are you resisting life? Consider the way electricity flows through wires. The conductivity of the metal is key to the flow of electricity, which we could call it currency. We need to be the same, which means to stop resisting life, stop resisting what we want, stop resisting our partner's demands, the traffic, the dog pulling and sniffing everything. So I ask you, where are you resisting life? What are your primary ways or areas of your life where you resist? Are you arguing about something that's happening in your life right now? Resistance, my friends, is always fear and scarcity based. Often when we think we're resisting something, we're not aware of it, but there's fear that the partner will leave, that we'll lose the income, that we might get sick, right? So resisting life and resisting what is, its core is motivated from fear. And sadly, that when we worry about the worst case thing happening, as you know, what we focus on, that's where our energy is going, our manifesting force, and it can start to bring it into reality. I've experienced it. So ask yourself, are you holding on to a fear that's preventing you from stepping boldly into what you want or taking an action? Now here's the thing, the difference between fear and greatness is where we put our focus. And where focus goes, energy flows. So what if you saw yourself succeeding at that thing? Just for a moment, to close your eyes and see that conversation unfolding exactly as you want it to be unfold, and you see the success. Another part of resisting life or not resisting life is to authentically show up as you and accept your life situation. Acceptance can move us into action in the most beautiful, gentle ways. And when we know what we want to change, we know what we want from step 1, we can feel empowered to take action. And it's coming from a confident place, a place of alignment. And from that place of alignment, it's so much easier to release patterns and behavior in that empowered state of mind. It doesn't grab our attention because we're focused on our aim, we're focused on our intention, and we are rising above the fray. And it can help change our scarcity mindset into welcoming abundance, welcoming change. And until we do the things we want to, until we put into action the desires we want, we're not operating as our best selves, are we? So here's step 4. Scarcity is a mindset, is contracting. And here's the really good news. Scarcity is a mindset, abhors, hates action and movement, hates change. So if you think of scarcity as I'm not going to step out, I'm not going to speak my mind, I'm not going to ask for what we want, I'm not going to ask my boss for that raise, I'm not going to put my resume together because, I don't know, I've tried before and it just hasn't happened. So scarcity as a mindset is contracting. Okay, now consider this. Applying what you've learned into action. So is there something that's deeply desirable for you? Maybe it is to start dating again. And is there an action you can take today? Maybe to research what's the best dating platform? Or is it really great for me to date online? Is there a program you could take where you can start to learn how to date organically as you go through your life? Now you need to put into action what you've learned. Anchor your learning. Get into motion. What is one thing you can do today to move you into action? Perhaps set an objective or start small and just get some energy moving and clean out a junk drawer or give away some unwanted items. Put that box in your car, right on your front seat, so next time you're out and about doing errands, you see a thrift shop and it's out of your place and you've given it away. And ask yourself and practice as you go through your day. If you notice your energy dropping, ask yourself, where's my awareness? Am I in optimism or am I in fear and contraction? It's an important note here. Where we unconsciously choose to live, we'll consciously choose abundance. And I'll repeat that in another way. Your unconscious is focusing on something, and it's taking direction from your conscious mind. So if you are focused on scarcity more and more and more, then your unconscious is going to align with that view. So we want to shift the pattern. And if you need help in shifting the pattern, I've got wonderful tools. So reach out. You can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/higher true self, and make a comment there. And I will respond and give you some resources. A lot of them are free and get you moving forward. Maybe that's your action today. So ask yourself, where's my awareness? Is it in fear? Okay. And make sure that you are sending the right messages to your unconscious mind. And again, if you'd like support in maintaining a manifesting mindset, a positive, optimistic mindset, and release patterns, then I invite you to continue to listen to the Manifesting Guide podcast and opt in for our free gift on highertrueself.com, where you start to learn how to manifest without pushing and forcing. And when that starts to happen, you start getting things done, it feels joyful. And in that free gift, it's going to give you a powerful audio, true self-grounding, and a wish list exercise, and some good guidance about what is fear of success anyway. Thank you so much for listening. This is Aryana Rollins, and if you like the podcast and you think it would benefit someone, please leave a review at podchaser.com. Remember, self-confirmation frees you to be yourself.